Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it, and I'm going to start with the weather. So, as everybody knows, it's been very cold. We even got a little bit of snow, um, which was early, and we could get a little bit more. And then by the end of this week, by Friday through till I think Tuesday of next week, it's going to be mild again. It'll be 60 to 65 on those days. And then on Wednesday, I believe it drops back into the 50s and then heads back towards the cold. So if the Farmer's Almanac is right this year, it's going to be a cold, snowy winter. And they're generally right. Not always, but they're generally right. So if you like to ski and you like outdoor activity, which I do, and I'm excited what's happening at Bosque, it could be a great year for that. And if you don't, well, it's going to be winter. But anyway, one of the things I really want to jump into here is the situation with with homelessness in the city of Pittsfield. And as most of you know, I broke that story and started covering it really from when we opened the former St. Joseph's High School in April as a temporary shelter during the pandemic. And then it was abruptly closed in July, and I continued to cover that, which when that was abruptly closed, it triggered this whole chain reaction where Springside Park and many other encampments in the city, but Springside Park was the largest, filled up with a lot of people that were displaced when that shelter closed. It was a whole disaster, a mess. Then the city said they had a couple different things. The mayor put a statement out saying that nobody was staying there. Only 4 people were displaced. That's what her and ServiceNet said. Or she was saying that ServiceNet told her that only 4 people were displaced. And then it was, well, the Diocese of Springfield told us they kicked us out. They said we had to get out by August 1st. It was a whole mess. Our community development director stuck to that. I followed a thread a couple times on some posts, but one in particular, I believe it was even on a city councilor's page. I took screenshots of it, where the community development director, Deanna Roofer, said that stuck with the fact, or the story that she was saying. The fact was that the Diocese of Springfield told them they had to get out by August 1st, and that there was never an issue with hot water. They had plenty of hot water. There was never a problem there. But then it has come up again. You know, I've heard this from many people that they went a considerable amount of time with no hot water because there was issues with the boiler, which I reported on that way back. And that the diocese is letting them use the shelter again. And the diocese is saying, no, we told them they could use it till the pandemic was over. They gave them till June of next year, and then said they could go further than that if it need be, if the situation came up. So the whole thing was confusing. And again, not that I'm trying to rehash the past, but the reason this is a big issue is because as of yesterday, Sunday the 1st, the former St. Joe's High School is now once again a emergency shelter, and I believe it's through the winter. So hopefully this gets run correctly. And I think the reason I really felt the need to bring this up is because, again, since I broke that story and stayed on top of it, and all the public attention was coming in, and the community members, all of you people were dropping off donations. There's a lot of people that have big hearts here and care. And when they were aware of what was happening, the community got involved. And, but what's been happening over the past couple months is the blame from city councilors in the mayor's office seem to be pointing at the Homeless Commission. And I really don't understand that, because those are all volunteers. And specifically, the chair of that, a gentleman by the name of Ed Carmel. Now, they recently dissolved that commission, and the mayor's starting a new one. But they really started blaming them, and I didn't understand that, because Mr. Carmel himself is a person who was in homelessness, got himself out of that situation, and I do not know the specifics of how, but became an advocate and fighting for those who were, and to be there to help them, and a volunteer. Now, is he a little rough around the edges at times, the way he speaks? Yes. Is his heart in the right place? Absolutely. This is a person who's volunteering his time. Now, when he showed anger and frustration at times, our city officials and counselors, rather than chastising this guy publicly, maybe should have said, hey, let's sit down and talk somewhere. Let's see how we can communicate a little bit better on this and get to where we need to get. That's how you deal with volunteers. You don't discourage people and you don't point the finger and blame them. Because before I broke this story and brought all this attention to it, and I don't regret doing that, I'm glad I did, because now something is finally being done, and it's still, the public is on top of this. That homeless committee, I think it was somewhere in 2018 that it was brought back to life by former city councilor Melissa Mazzio and our Ward 1 city councilor Helen Moon. But if you remember, well, do you remember this?
Well, you still have to tell me when the meetings are happening. I don't have telepathy. I can't imagine when you're convening a meeting off-site about homelessness. I would be more than happy to participate in those conversations, of course.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, the meetings take place in City Hall, upstairs in City Council chambers. And we have that once a month.
So the mayor herself knew nothing about what this committee did, where they met, when they met, what time they met, anything. So for everyone to be pointing the finger now at the volunteers, that's not fair. That's kind of using them as a scapegoat to the problem. So they took away that whole council and committee and said it was ineffective. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. I don't know what they were supposed to do. They need to get the information from the city. They need to get information of what's going on. And assistance. They're volunteers. I don't think we should be blaming them for all this. But anyway, I had to throw that out there because I thought that this gentleman, Mr. Carmel, was really taking a beat down verbally from some of our city councilors and everyone, like he's the bad guy. We should be happy that this gentleman was able to get himself out of that situation and after he did, rather than being selfish about it, he's giving back and trying to advocate for those who are. That's honorable. So, like I said, if he's a little rough around the edges, let's work with him. That's what our city officials should be doing, and be thankful that he wants to be involved. Not toss him aside and point the finger at him like this was his fault. Because that's ridiculous and unfair. But anyway, the mayor's office has completely backed away from this, saying, hey, we're not running that shelter. We've had nothing to do with this. We just give ServiceNet money every year, and then with the St. Joe shelter itself, we only paid for the setup, I think $16,000, $17,000 to get it set up. Now, I don't know if that was just for this time, or if that was this time and an additional $16,000 or $17,000 last time also, and then they closed it a couple months later. I don't know. I mean, to me, the city has involvement in it. It's city's responsibility as far as I'm concerned. And if we're contracted with ServiceNet, the provider, and it was a disaster the way it was run last time. So hopefully that doesn't happen this time. Hopefully there's a smoother transition, because these are people's lives on the line. So I will be on top of that. But I felt the need to bring that up. And so I'll get back to that. There's a ton of other things I have to get back to, and I want everyone to know I didn't forget you people. That it's just a crazy time right now, as everybody knows, and I can't wait till tomorrow is over. So there's a lot of things I will get back on. I still haven't scheduled the interview with the individual I mentioned, but I will be doing it. He contacted me, and I will be scheduling an interview with him, and that's regarding the shared spaces or shared streets and shared spaces project in the city of Pittsfield, which a lot of people have been messaging me about. The situation on North Street, the one lane of traffic. there's a lot of people not happy. And to me, it seems, again, lack of transparency, lack of communication, and lack of caring what the majority of the residents think. It's no different than what the cell tower situation in Ward 4. If the mayor herself had communicated with these people and the city had got involved to say, let's hear your concerns, rather than just say, no, you're on your own, everything's fine, legal here, we don't care. And that's the thing. When you do not communicate with people, you get them angry and make them feel like second-rate citizens. And they're taxpayers. So I'll get back on that. The at-home in Pittsfield program from the mayor, which I think is far from economic development. It's a wrong way to spend that money. Do these homeowners need help in a lot of these neighborhoods? Yes. There's better, more effective ways to do this. But to take it from the Economic Development Fund and use it that way and call that economic development, it's not, period. You'd have a tough time proving it to me. That's not how economic development works. But that's a whole nother one also to talk about. So I'm going to leave it at that. Everyone, stay safe. Try to find some positivity. There's a lot of good things to talk about too, but remember this, the most important thing is all politics are local. You want to make a real change and you want to affect things as the whole, then you get involved locally. And if everyone did that everywhere, you climb the pyramid from the bottom up, or you build one from the bottom up. But that's how you get to the top. You don't just yell and scream about the people at the top. You got to get involved. And what happens in your town and your community is where you can make the biggest difference. So I hope there's a lot of people considering running for the council this year. I hope more people message me on that. I've gotten about 15 names so far. I hope more people do. I want to see more people get involved. And when this pandemic is over, we can get stronger volunteer groups back together and all the other things. But anyway, that is it for now. Please, everyone, stay calm, find positivity in all this, and I will be back in the next few days, and we'll take it from there. So everyone, be good, stay safe, smile, and I'll see y'all in a couple days.